Welcome to Forbes India Presents Business Lodestones, where we unravel the journey of visionaries who are shaping the business landscape. Today, the spotlight is on a key player in India's rapidly growing co-working space. The industry in recent times has benefited from a slight shift in work culture, the rise of the gig economy, and demand from smaller towns. Joining us today is Meghna Agarwal, co-founder of IndiQube, one of the biggest outfits in the segment. Hi Meghna, thanks for joining in.
Hi Abhishek, thank you, pleasure.
Let's start with from the beginning. Where did this idea germinate? Where were you when you first had that light bulb moment, or was it less dramatic than that?
IndiQube movement.
Yes.
200% very, very dramatic. It was extremely boring. So the thing is, so my first company, Hirepro Consulting, we were looking for an office space and we wanted about 70,000 square feet for own consumption. And we ended up taking 1 lakh square feet. And so we work with a lot of, because of recruitment talent management firm, so we work with a lot of GCC and the startup founders, So they gradually, so we sublease these spaces, the balance space to these people. And from the beginning, when we started the company, we've always provide food, transport, and the other amenities like gym, yoga facilities, everything, in our campus. So they gradually started tagging along on all those services. And we were fine with it. But when we were growing and when we asked then these companies to leave, that time they were very reluctant. They were like, we do not have the bandwidth, we do not have the resources. Although we do have the money, but we cannot do it. So can you manage it for us? And we are professionals, right? Me and my other co-founder Rishi, we had absolutely no real estate background. And out of sheer ignorance, we took almost like 1.5 lakh square feet, 500 meters from our current building. And to our surprise, in about 3 months, we were able to sublease it. And we were shocked. I was like, what is this? And we were talking about this 2013-14.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, so we dwell much more into that whole space. And then we realized either you have the tech parks of the world, which are very rigid, which is for the biggest MNC corporations, or you have these smaller setup in residential areas and all, but there is no product for the growing companies and all, and provide the flexibility in the system. So officially we started IndiQube in about 2015. Yeah, so that is what it is.
You make it sound very simple, but in the beginning, when that first client, so to speak, of yours said that we don't have anywhere to go, let's continue here. Yeah. But were there any, hurdles during that time in an industry which was still very formative, if at all there was any in India?
So, no, but it was actually, look, everything is difficult or everything is easy. It's just about your mindset. I strongly believe that. But yes, it was a very, very new concept, right? So if you see the way the real estate has evolved over the years, we'll probably, if you need some office space, you would go and you would pay a fixed amount, for a fixed lock-in. So everything's very fixed. There's no flexibility. There's no concept of services. You had those curvilinear workstations and all, and then the people used to work in silos. But now, over a period of time, the way the disruption is happening in other industries like edtech or fintech, the same transformation was happening in real estate, and people realized that because of the uncertainty in the market, because of all those external factors also, they have to be flexibility in the workspaces also. So they want to adopt a pay-as-you-use model. So they were like, why should I pay for an ideal space? So that is very, very clear. Plus, those curvilinear was replaced by the linear workstations, and they wanted more collaborative spaces. So all those transformation was happening. So it was definitely a novel idea, but the way people were consuming real estate was changing, if I can say. So it was like the change in the consumer behavior. So yes, it was. So, but it was more of a little education which was needed at the start, and build trust gradually. So it's just like the way we say it, it's like a pizza toppings, right? So we'll give you a margarita pizza, and then we'll add toppings, olives and jalapenos or onion and tomatoes the way you want it, rather than I'm giving a full-fledged pizza right away.
Right.
So we had to build trust step by step. So that is how we did it. And the customers and the clients were kind enough to kind of showed trust in us, and that's how we started off.
So did you? I'm curious to know if you used that example during your pitch to the VCs, when, if at all, at the time when you were raising money, or how did they react when you, whether it's friends, families, or whoever it is that you may have thought, hey, could you get some money in because we want to start this of our own with our own money? How did they react? And
so So we are first generation entrepreneurs, me and Rishi, both of us, and we know through that Hyper and the other businesses, we had our own savings, and we are very frugal. We're typical Agarwal family, right? So we've never started a business, or we've never done any business in losses. Even IndiQube, we've always been EBITDA positive since the beginning. So we're very particular about that. Yeah. So we've never burned money. I don't know. We should be proud of that, but I think this is the thing right now these days. You know, like you're running a business for profit. Oh wow, you have a PAT. Which sounds silly to me, because you basically run the business for profit. So that's what it is. But in terms of investors, yes, as I said, the half of the work, if I can use that name, we were kind of did our work, you know, because that was like really in the news and all. So that kind of played a very, very important role. But when people and the investors started talking to us, they kind of knew that this is a real estate 2.0. The flexibility is needed. They wanted, you know, some kind of a workspace. The consumption, the way the real estate is going to get consumed is going to get changed. Like, for example, you have, I said in EdTech or the FinTech, you know, there was a lot of transformation which is happening. So real estate would also grow like that. And with the surge of the startup communities, right, they really do not know. So we are not their growth partners only. You know, we are also the partners when they want to downsize. So that flexibility they would need it. So it was, I would say, it was not very tough. It's about education. So when they understand there's a gap in the market and you're solving that problem, I think they're onboarded. You know, I don't say, and it is true for any other businesses also. So you have to see the gap, and you just need one investor to kind of see your vision. And if you have that one investor, I think you're done. You know, you do not need more people.
Right. You very casually mentioned that, you know, growth and profitability can go hand in hand, which is a bit of a misnomer, or it doesn't usually happen. So how did you said frugal mentality.
Yeah.
Could you give a couple of examples where you said we will expand but not at the cost of not making money, or we will save enough and not be penny wise pound foolish? So anything that comes to mind.
So as a founder, so we both are very, very complementary. So my eyes are on the top line. Rishi's eyes are on the bottom line, and then we meet, you know, we kind of meet in midway. So and as I said, since it was our own money, so we have put our own 100 crores of our own hard-earned money from other businesses in this business, right? So in no way we could have afforded some kind of a loss. Plus in real estate, it's the real money. Although it is a services play, but it is the real money which is going in the rental, you know. So we have to be frugal. Secondly, as I said, we needed growth, but growth at any cost was definitely not our idea. So we had to kind of find a balance between that, and we have the strategy, like, you know, fire bullets and cannons, meaning by like whenever we go to the new micro markets, you will take smaller spaces, fire bullets we call it, figure out the market, understand the geography, understand the demography, and then once you're comfortable, then you fire the cannons, then you take the entire building, because our product is taking the entire building. Because for us, the experience is the key. The employee is the hero of the story. So, you know, if my experience from the parking to the food court is not good, then we are not there. So, you know, so those are important. But, you know, but those strategies kind of helped us.
Right. So give a little bit of insights, if you can, please, on what is important for an employee in 2024 when he chooses to either rent a co-working space. What are those things after your research that you may have done? What are those key 5 to 7 things that your organization focuses on, and not so much the frills which generally gets you know, more attention?
Yeah.
Like, for example, free beer is something that the West offers, but probably might not be a priority here. So how do you guys figure out what is it that should be on offer?
So yeah, so thing is, so we are not, definitely we do not provide free beers, yeah, but I think India is a market for the subsidized food. People want bhar pet khana in 100 rupees, right? I mean, that is what they're exactly looking for. So the subsidized food is very, very important for us. Transport management, like, you know, so why do you need space? You need space for the talent, right? And for any company to flourish, you would need a woman talent. And for women talent, transport is important. Either you have to build the metro, or you have to provide them the transport facility. Any company which is in the growth phase, that transport is not there, right? I mean, that is on last on the agenda. So we provide transport management. Then we have these 52 weeks calendar in which we have these health and wellness program and all. So the idea is to keep them engaged and, you know, collaborative. So these are the services which kind of make the employee life easier at the work area. Because if you see, everybody would, the most awake hours of their life are spent in office, right? So anything which makes their life easier in the workspaces, that are the services and offerings which we kind of focus on. Secondly, for the members these days, air quality, the sustainability is a bigger role. So, they're very particular about what kind of air quality, do we have a fresh air, this thing, how the weight, so even if they're not directly involved with the waste management or the water management, they would ask questions like that, whether your building is sustainable, is it platinum certified, LEED certified, so that is also big, what we have seen in the last few months and all, that is also very important role, that is playing in the decision making exercises. Yeah.
So have you seen this change like only in the last few months? You're saying that people, or maybe a couple of years, this shift in the millennials mindset or even Gen Z these days. So do you see any pattern or drastic changes over the last 7, 8 years or 10 years since you've been there? Some 2 or 3 key areas that have caught your attention that, hey, things are different from what they used to be?
Yeah, so as I said, sustainability is definitely very important, because initially the decisions were very cost driven, if I could say so, right? Because so we have about 700 client base. We work with the startups to the unicorns to all the MNCs, large corporations. So there are two very important things which is very which is the key to decision making is, one is the location, because the location of the asset has to be really good, and the second is the cost, the value for money. That was important. But now over the period of years, there's also a quality of interiors. Do we have enough collaborative spaces? Do we have enough meeting rooms? Can you have and places where they can ideate ideas? Do I feel more comfortable? So there'll be like multiple the layouts and designs will be done accordingly, and there's actually a demand for that. Secondly, since they'll be spending so much of hours, right? So a lot of amenities like gym, your yoga centers, your health, your fitness, your billiards room, your game zones, a very nice food court, multiple F&B activities. That is also the ask, because since they'll be spending, so they would need variety over there. And as I said, sustainability is extremely new, but it's picking up, because these people, Gen Z or whatever we call them, they're very sensitive about the environment. At least that I would like to believe, and they're very particular. Okay, are we using the plastic cups, for the water, and how are we? So, for example, are we using the STPs for the water management or not? Is this power is like solar powered? Are we harnessing solar power or not? So they'll have those questions. So the employers would eventually ask questions. Can you give us the ESG report? Is your building sustainable and all? Yeah, so those are the things which is for good. Yeah. Because that is how we differentiate, right, between a good product or bad product, because this is the need of an hour. If a product is not environmentally sustainable, whether it is IndiQube or anything, I do not see the future at all, because this is I think the need of the hour today.
And how do you keep yourself abreast of what the demand generally is, and how much is the Western world and the co-working spaces there? How much can we learn from there, or is India a different beast altogether, where we need to do our own primary research and figure out how to connect the dots?
Okay, so actually India is it's a very unique market. Okay, it's a different beast altogether. You cannot compare it with the US market. To just give an idea, Manhattan in US is about 800 million square feet. The entire India is 600. That's it. So you can imagine that's the gap we're talking about. Bangalore absorbs more real estate than Shanghai in the last 3 years. Bangalore absorbs more real estate than the Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Malaysia put together. So that is the kind of the size we're talking about. So definitely it has to be the model which is for India, by India. It cannot be a cut, copy, paste version of the Western world, because that is the need of the hour. So that is definitely, so India is a different beast, and the size you're talking about is not there anywhere, okay? And why do we need that? It's because of the talent, right? So I do not mind an open office in Dallas or Texas and all, but where's the talent? If I need 100 technical architects, that's in India, whether we like it or not like it. So it's just not the cost arbitrage game we are playing. We are also playing with the talent availability, and the kind of inflection point in India is, I think we're best suited. So we need to have a model which is offering, which is for India.
The point about talent, now if I were to flip the question to you, how do you recruit talent in an industry which is around 10 years old in India? When you go out and when people come to you to work for your outfit, what is it that you're looking for? And is there abundant talent available, or do you struggle to get good folks on?
The talent abundance is not there. This is oxymoron. You would always be need for a good talent, because without a good team, I don't think so a company can scale. So you would always be need for the good talent. And for us, it's not a real estate play, especially this industry. as I said, the way we are consuming real estate is not in the way the real estate, because the kind of flexibility and the focus on the services there, you do not need people from the real estate background, you need people from the services background. So we hire from the hotel industry, you know, that they have to have a service mindset, because you have to cater to the customer needs, you know. So we have a help desk customer support, which is 24/7, you know, and then there's a process of raising the tickets, and we have a SLAs to kind of follow through. So so we've been hiring people from the hospitality sector. Do we have enough talent? No. Do we need more people? Yes. Since we are growing, we're always in the need of people. We have our good times, we have our good days where we give a lot of offers, we have our bad days also, but this is where we are. Yeah.
Right. And this industry, like many others these days, cannot do without technology or digital. So, and sometimes it is used as a buzzword, but it is more pertinent to the segment that you are in. So have you anything that comes to the top of your mind that this is how we harness digital to make the life of that employee or the customer easier?
Yeah, so technology is honestly is a facilitator for us, you know. It is needed, you know, it is extremely needed for us for the scaling up, you know. I mean, if I say without technology I would scale up, no, that's not going to happen. Secondly, as I said again and again, the employee experience consistency is the key. And to provide that consistent experience, I would need technology. So in case, for example, if I am moving to Ahmedabad office, I'm going to Jaipur office or Madurai, I should have the same feeling. It should not feel like, oh, I'm coming to a different office, right? And for those consistent experience, we would need technology. Our technology is a 3-stack. So one is, we call it MyQube app, in which the employees could actually, so we have food, right? So they can actually see the menu in any of the food court, and then they can order it through that app, and then you go get a notification that your food is ready. So all our cafeteria management is done like through. Then you have visitor management. So we do not have registers there. You can pre-authorize your visitors and everything. So we have VMS. Secondly, then you have like events. So we do events across our 7 million square feet buildings and all. So you can attend any events and all. All the kind of events are open to them. You can book meeting rooms and all. So that is one layer. The second layer we call it SurveyQube app, which is for the people on the staff on the ground level. Again, like if you see, you go to the washroom, you will have those papers at the back of the door. We have gotten away with that. So they'll have an app again, we call it SurveyQube. They would use it, and through geotagging, people would get to know how many housekeeping staff or facility staff in that building. And then when the work is done, it would automatically say tick marks, you know, so that is there. And my third stack is the dashboard, which is for the other stakeholders like the tenant admin or the CXOs and all, where they want to see how much power consumption is there during the peak hours, not non-peak hours. Have we used the solar or not? You know, what is my water consumption? How much people are using my transport? What kind of food is, you know, is consumed? So there are a lot of data which they want to do it. So for example, you know, there was a startup, you know, so they had this, they used to give subsidy for the food, for the lunches and all, so that to kind of enhance the collaboration and this thing. But what used to happen, these people used to, the employees used to take care of that 2,000 rupees at the end of the, so they'll get their, carry their tiffins, and at the end of the month, they will buy those crate of fruities and Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you know, and they'll take it home. Right. So the whole idea of collaboration was like totally breached. So what this founder asked us, can you put us the subsidy is only for cooked food. So what happened? So we could do a targeted employee subsidy. So we said, okay, this 2,000 rupees was only for the cooked food, or 2,000 rupees, 80% is for the cooked food, 20% you can still buy MRP items, right? So it was like a focused, targeted subsidy, and it was a pushed collaboration, but it really worked. Because rather than people buying that thing, you know, and taking it away, that fruity thing, you know, you are actually forcing people, and when you talk, when you collaborate, and then that's how you make new ideas, right? So those are the things. So, and for all these things is done through a technology platform, you know, otherwise it wouldn't have been possible.
So would this be the personalization bit? Because often this word is thrown around, but in this case, you can have different horses for courses. So you've got different solutions for different companies who might want, so you've got 10,000 rupees. Now how you want to spend it depends on their priorities and your suggestions on that tech platform. Is that, is my understanding right?
Yeah, so it is basically the way we have made it, is like a pure SaaS platform. So even if you just want my technology, it can be done. You know, so we can actually set the rules and engines to the admin. So for example, if I have sold the product to you, so as an admin, you can customize all the rule engines. So just like any other SaaS product, it's like an architect driven. So it's not like I have to customize for each and every, then the whole idea gets lost again, right? So in fact, there are few companies in which only my technology is working. neither they are my space nor my services. It's just the tech product, you know. So yeah, that is how it is. And then they can customize those things. Sometimes, you know, we also have these modules, we call it, like VMS or events or food or transport or a parking management. We call it modules. Sometimes people also take just the parking management module. Sometimes people take only the transport module. So we can actually break it down to that level, and they would just take one module. Yeah, so that is how it is.
So if in one sentence you were to summarize what your outfit does, would it be a tech company, real estate how do you pitch how do you say that now that it's evolved over time?
Okay. Yeah, for surely we're not a co-working, you know,
Yeah.
in a player, and we always have maintained that from the beginning, even when we started IndiQube, and that was not the, you know, the ethos when we started. It was always like it's a workspace solutions company, right? So we kind of cover the whole gamut of services, like a full stack services. The one offering is your plug and play, you can call it co-working, enterprise and all. But second is your design, interiors, renovation, green solutions, upgradations, and then you have the services part like your food and transport, parking, events, and then you have the technology. So it's basically end-to-end coverage. So it is just not for the clients that you have to come to my building, then I only can serve you. So my market is entire 40 million square feet. My market is entire 600 to 700 square feet, you know. So it is like a one-stop solution for all your workspace need. So that is where we are.
And what's the sort of feedback that you get from your customers in general? And what does it, how does it help you to improve your product and offerings?
Oh, the feedback is very, very important. So we are extremely customer focused, right? So my customers have to be happy. My investor's not happy, shareholder's not happy, it's fine. I'm fine, that's okay. But if my shareholders and investors are happy, but my customer, then there's a trouble. So customers is the focus, is we relentlessly work, you know, for the customer, this thing. And feedback system is also a continuous process, right? So it's not like one feedback and then you're done. So it's a continuous process. So as I said, we have 2-3 ways they can actually give us the feedback. One is to the employee, the member, through the MyQube app, they can raise a ticket. We have a certain SLAs. Then from the stakeholders, through the dashboard also, they can raise a ticket and they can give us the feedback. We also have these NPS scores, the surveys which keep doing with these entire stakeholders, and we keep getting these feedback, and we keep improving our services. So there are a lot of demands like, can you increase your F&B events, you know, because there are a lot of food truck events, they love it, you know, music and food truck, you know, that is what they love it. Or sometimes, you know, they would ask you, can you help us with more training about certain things and all. So all those things are there. Sometimes can you put it us on the, you know, the IoT sensors and all, you know, to save light, you know. So that's these kind of feedback has also helped us to improve our ecosystem. So these feedbacks are like, I would say, continuous exercise. We still do it, and even till date, I mean, I'm talking here, but every complaint comes to me direct, straight, and every night I go through each and every complaint myself. Still, yes, with even 700 clients, and I see all my open tickets, and I also see personally how much SLAs has been taken, you know, to close those tickets, and whether the client has signed off on those tickets. So we are so particular, we are so focused on our client experience. With client experience the key, as said, and my 75% of my business comes from clients, you know, references. So if they don't grow, if my clients do not grow and they are not happy, then we will not grow. So yeah.
Given that you're growing and profitably, and you look through every complaints, every passing year, are you getting lesser sleep in the night? Because you
no,
want to be...
I'm born insomniac. So I'm born insomniac. I hardly can sleep. So, and that's a trouble for my team members. That's not my problem. That's my team problem. I would say it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's very important. I think to be very hands-on. You know, if I can say so, I'm a very hands-on founder or a team member, you know, so I need to know each and every detail. I mean, people would say that, you know, this would not help to scale you up and, you know, you would become deterrent to the whole system. And I kind of defer to believe, and so be it. If we have grown so far, I'm sure we would keep growing. But definitely the system is not dependent on the founders. It is not like indispensable. So there's a difference whether the system is dependent on them or whether you're hands-on. There are two different aspects to it. So yes, I'm very hands-on founder, yes. So.
Right. And all of this obviously will translate and has translated in your case to various success stories. Anything that comes to mind where an organization has said, you might have your metrics, like how do you know that something has worked and worked well? Is it the employee productivity, or has some customer come up and told you, hey, this has helped me grow my business, or anything that comes to mind?
So help you grow in the business in the sense ki especially when because our model is also in a crude terms like capex to opex model, right? I mean otherwise they have to spend their own money to do the interiors and all. So that kind of, so when you raise money, especially for the startups, so what happened then, for example, if you raise a certain amount of money, then instead of putting the money to do the office for the interiors work, right, you can actually use your money in their core business. So that kind of take that load off. So that kind of helps a lot of founders. That's what we hear them. And in terms of growth also, right, so there are good times also, so everybody is a partner in the good time. But when it downsizing also, it's very, very particular, right? So we kind of try, I will not say, I'm sure there would be complaints, there would be employees or there would be clients who would say, no, but we try our level best, when they're downsizing, to be the partner in there and give them the smaller space without haggling them, So we are just your partners, whether your growth partners, so we are your space partners. That's how we kind of tell them. And that's given them a lot of confidence, and that's what have helped them to grow, I would like to believe. And our money and the kind of cost factor we have, it's like value for money. Our branding is just like more like Indigo Airlines, It's functional, it's on time, and that's what we also offer, This is your better productivity, your everything is good, and it'll be functional offices, no frills. If you want frills attached, you pay me extra money.
Right.
Yeah, right. So that's about it, but it's value for money.
And what works in one city, can you just copy paste that model in another, or do you see any changes from, let's say, architecture standpoint or offerings, or is it a relevant question at all?
No, it's every question is a relevant question. And yes, I mean, we do see a little cultural difference. You would see, for example, the way, like for example, Chennai, it's a SaaS company, it's like a SaaS mafia is there, so the kind of companies, people. So they are such, Chennai people, if I say so, they are like, they do not have very high expectations. They're very low maintenance people. You could get away with a lot of things. But Bangalore people are very high on demand, That's how the Calicut people, so down south are very sweet, They don't have a problem. Yeah, so that's but when it comes to up north, then again, they'll be very demanding. Like down south people are very particular with the food events, but up north people are more worried about the entertainment events. They would want music events and they would food events. In terms of designing also, down south people are more simpler, good workstations and very good chairs, ergonomic chairs, but they're not very particular about the breakout areas and collaborative zones. So we kind of give it to them, no, you take it. But up north they are very, very particular about the colors, about the designs of the palette and all. So yeah, so everybody has its own sensibilities, even in terms of landlord. Bangalore is full of Reddys, so we have a Reddy landlord. If you go to Pune, then you have a different community landlord, and it's a very close community. So if you gain trust of one landlord, then trust with other landlords, you automatically gain trust. You don't, and if you kind of mess up with one, then you mess up with others. So it's like a small community, because these are high net worth clients. They do not, that's not their main business. So when they're giving your building, they're giving a lot of trust, and they don't want any haggling or they're nothing, So that becomes very important. That person who's taking their building for long term has to be stable enough.
Right. And last couple of questions. What are the near to short-term plans and some medium-term plans that you have on the anvil?
There's no short-term plan. Okay, we are here for long-term. So, and the long-term plan is obviously it's both ways. It's like deeper and wider. And as I said again, the space, you do it for the talent. So when somebody takes a space, then they move their school and house closer to that. So when any company is expanding, then they don't mind breaching that 2 to 3 kilometers radius. Like for example, in Bombay, if somebody's in Andheri, they don't mind being Andheri 2-3. But if you ask Andheri guy to go to Navi Mumbai, then there'll be a problem. So the deeper penetration in the market is very important. So yeah, so that is what it is. So go deeper in the existing markets, because there are there are about 60 micro markets in India. We've divided. So there are green zones, yellow zones, and red zones. So in green zones, yeah, so there's deeper penetration and all. And the wider, obviously, because initially the talent is used to go where the work is, but now the work is going where the talent is. So that is why you see a lot of rise of tier 2, tier 3 cities, right? So yeah, so the idea is to, so right now we're in about 13 cities, in about next to 2 to 3 years to go about 20-25 cities, right, to kind of go for a wider reach. Also for the services and offerings, keep improvising on, keep working on, keep adding on the modules. Yeah, so that is the plan. And the customer delight, that's what we work on. So keep improving the customer delight, yes.
Thank you very much, Meghna, for your time.
Thank you, Abhishek. Pleasure.
Thank you. And IndiQube, as you've seen, has solid plans to expand its footprint in this industry. Join us again next time as we continue to uncover more such untold stories of business leaders shaping the future of their industries. Until then, stay inspired.